Hello and welcome to the latest CraftySniper's airsoft videos. On today's video, I just basically wanted to bring up the fact that I now have a HPA rifle. For those in the know that follow my Facebook page, I've been putting up posts and photos of the project as it's been going along over the last few weeks. And yesterday was the first day I was able to actually test fire this weapon at a range and field the weapon. So I've now pretty much gone to completing this whole weapon, and that is my HPA A&K SR25 designated marksman rifle. Now, a little bit of back history. I pretty much love the sniper role, whether it be a semi-automatic snipers or bolt-action snipers. I just love the idea of being that sneaky player that can hit people from uber long range in airsoft. So over this year, I've been moving over to the semi-automatic variety of. Hello and welcome to the latest CraftySniper's airsoft videos. On today's video, I'm going to be showing off my latest and finally finished project. Over the last few weeks, I've been putting up posts and photos regarding the SR25, and I have been literally itching to get this weapon onto a range to see what it actually can do. Well, that happened because yesterday I was at the last Lincolnshire Airsoft Club Weekender event of the year. And on the Saturday we was able to get this weapon onto the range, and on the Sunday I was actually able to field this. So now I've got a full review conclusion of this particular weapon, and that is my HPA A&K SR25 DMR. Bit of a mouthful, but then this weapon is absolutely huge. This weapon is absolutely amazing now running on HPA. It literally is quite possibly the greatest airsoft weapon I've ever fielded. It's including my rather large collection of airsoft weapons and any other weapon I've held. This thing can lob BBs at immense range now. Now obviously starting off, it was an A&K electric SR25, and to be quite frank with you, externally speaking, I was quite happy with the externals. Internals, nah, I wasn't happy with them in the slightest. A very sluggish motor, and to be honest with you, when we actually stripped this gun down and took out the pieces that we don't need out of the gearbox, I wasn't really blown away with the quality of the internals. However, now they're all gone and replaced with air, this thing is absolutely brilliant. So, externally speaking, we have an M16 solid stock, pretty much as boggo basic as you possibly get. It's made out of plastic, it's hollow, you can store batteries in there, you can store whatever you want in there now, and like I say, it's an M16 style solid stock. We have an upper and lower metal receiver. We have a plastic M4 style pistol grip, so anyone with an AR weapon will be immediately used to gripping this weapon. Going forward, we have a very long upper rail section. So if you want to put a scope on here, or you want to put any kind of sight on there, you've got massive amount of retailer space to put stuff on here. We also have side rails, both side, and an under rail for any kind of attachments. Obviously on this one I have under mounted a vertical grip and a Harris style bipod, which I think just completes the SR25 look. Moving forward, we have the Trademart SR25 Suppressor. This is a quick detach suppressor. You have a little latch here, pulls it off, it springs the suppressor off. Very quick to detach and very quick to put it back on again. You do have a very long outer barrel in this gun. It finishes about halfway into the suppressor, which is exactly the same length as the inner barrel. Okay, so the inner barrel in this gun is immensely huge. I can't remember the actual size of the lengthwise. It is a 6.03 Mad Bull Black Python version 2, I think it is, inner barrel, but basically 6.03 inner diameter, which is the number you really want to pay attention to. Also noting the fact that this gun is chambered for 7.62 rounds, not the traditional M4's 5.56. So the magazines are a little bit different than your standard M4, even though this thing pretty much looks like an M4. Hello and welcome to the latest CraftySniper's airsoft videos. On today's video, I want to talk about HPA. Well, I would want to talk about HPA, but I actually want to talk about the brand spanking new weapon that I've got that happens to be running on HPA. Yes, finally, after all these weeks and months, I've been able to field this particular weapon. This is my A&K SR25, which, as the airline proves at the bottom here, is now running on high-pressured air. Now, I've been putting photos up of this weapon for some time. Every time I added a bit to it, I've been taking photos of it, stripping the gearbox down, taking the bits out of that. I'll put photos up. Well, finally I've been able to use this gun. It was at the last Lincolnshire Airsoft Club Weekender event, and it was a bit of a headache, bit of a handful. On the Saturday we had a few issues with the hop, but basically that's now all sorted. On the Sunday, however, we was able to chrono this weapon, get it set up and get it out in the field, and by God, this thing is now an absolute beast. It is literally probably the best airsoft product I have in my collection. Probably even dare to say the best airsoft product I've ever used. Bit of back history. Obviously you guys know that I like sniper weapons. I've been using bolt action sniper rifles for a while, but this year I've moved over to the semi-automatic variety of sniper weapons, and to me the king of semi-automatic sniper weapons is the SR25. This thing is an absolute beast. Lengthwise it's huge, but because I'm quite a tall person, it's absolutely no issue to me whatsoever. However, if you are on the small side or short arms, this weapon probably is too much for you, but you know, it is a great weapon. Obviously this is an A&K weapon, and externally speaking it's absolutely brilliant. Pretty much is as good as any other AR weapon system I've ever used from any different airsoft company. Starting at the rear, we have a traditional M16 style stock. It's obviously hollow, made out of plastic, is as boggo standard as stocks get. It connects into the back of the gun and that's it. There is no changing this stock really, you know, it just is what it is. Moving a bit forward, we have the upper and lower receivers. These are made out of metal, very good quality metal as well, quite thick, and there is no give in the upper and lower receivers. Going a bit down, we have the traditional plastic M4 pistol grip. So anybody who's used an AR weapon will be used to these pistol grips. Moving slightly forward of the pistol grip, we have the rather large magwell. Now that kind of lends this weapon off to be an DMR, because this is chambered in 7.62 ammunition, or the real steel version is, not the traditional M4's 5.56. So that's the difference between an M4 and an SR25, plus a few aesthetics on the receivers. Moving to the top part of the gun, we have a simply humongous top rail. You can fit any style of scope, red dot sight, ACOG sight, whatever sight. You've got plenty of space on this. You could probably put multiple sights on this gun if you so wish. What came with the product was some fold-up iron sights. They're boggo basic. The front one I don't think moves. I think it moves to windage. I don't know, I can't remember. I don't traditionally use the sights. I know the rear sight is adjustable for height, but again, they come with the product, but I don't particularly want to use them. Moving forward of the sights, we have the traditional SR25 suppressor. This is a quick detach suppressor. You just lift this little valve up and the suppressor just springs off. Absolutely amazing. Now this thing's running on HPA, or high pressured air, the suppressor really does make a difference. Moving to the lower part of the gun, you can see what I've put on the gun here. It comes with a vertical grip, which, even though you can have umpteen fancy different varieties of vertical grips, I just think the boggo basics are pretty much as good as. And this is how I'd like to, how I use the gun when I'm moving or when I'm shooting without going prone. It allows me to, well, use the gun perfectly. If I'm going to go prone or lay on the ground, I have this Harris style bipod. Now this thing was about £25 and it's absolutely amazing. It's a very long bipod, as you can see, or reaches down to it. It's a very, very long bipod. Folding it back up again, just press the lever in and slip the legs in. Fold the legs up and there it is, they're back in again. You also have a quick detach switch on the bipod. Flicking this out means I can just take the bipod off in very quickly, should I wish. Now that's the externals. Like I said, they're pretty good. Internally speaking, as an electric gun, this was not the best. It didn't have a great motor. It was very slow and very, well, poor quality, just an unmarked motor. I don't know any specs on that motor whatsoever. The gears were steel, but you know, again, it's just A&K's internal, so they're not brilliant. However, now this is running on a Polarstar jack system, I don't have to worry about that because there's no motor in this whatsoever. In fact, the motor's come out, the gears have come out, springs come out, cylinders come out, cylinder head, that's come out as well. The gearbox now is pretty much empty because, like I say, this is a Polarstar jack system. Now, in Polarstar's range, there is two that I know of. There is the Polarstar jack and there is the Fusion engine. The Fusion engine is a copy of a version 2 gearbox. I do believe there's also the Fusion engine for AK, so that's a copy of a version 3 gearbox. But because A&K being special, this gearbox is a version 2.5 gearbox, which basically means it's slightly longer than the version 2. So I had to basically buy the Polarstar jack system, which means taking the gearbox out, replacing all the innards with a Polarstar jack, and refitting the gearbox. Not so much of a hard task. It's a bit fiddly getting all things connected back up again, but basically what this means is there is a Polarstar jack system where the cylinder and cylinder head would go, obviously with its own nozzle sitting out. You have two lines. There is one, obviously the air hose, that is routed down through the bottom of the gearbox, through the pistol grip and out here. And there is a data cable which goes out of the back of the gearbox and into the stock. Now the data cable is for the FCU. That is the brains of the Polarstar jack system and the Polarstar Fusion engine. This allows you to do many options, many changes, many different varieties, and you can pretty much set up your HPA system to run however you wish. The only settings that are really interesting when it comes to the FCU in the SR25 is the fact that I need to lock this gun off to semi-automatic only. Now for some reason, and I still can't fathom it out, A&K made this gun fully automatic. So even when you put the gun into semi-automatic, not an issue, semi, and then it automatically swings round to fully automatic. God only knows why they did that, but hey, they did. It's not really an issue now because the FCU, like I say, can be modded and changed, and change the values on it to mean that even if I put the gun into fully automatic, it will still only shoot semi-automatic. So now this is a semi-automatic only weapon system, which means absolutely brilliant results for this gun. Now, like I say, the weekend we managed to get this out on the range. We had a few issues with the hop chamber. That was just with the rounds not allowing to go through, but we've managed to fix that by putting in a Prometheus red booking with the standard M4 metal hop chamber. That's the best configuration we've got out of the parts that I'm available to get hold of. And the results with 0.3 ammunition, because that's the minimum weight I would suggest to run a DMR on, are amazing. This thing will put 0.3s out at around 70-75 meters, which is going some for a BB. On the Sunday, this was chronoed with 0.3s, and I went out to play with this gun. And like I say, a 70 meter range and a weapon system that's quite silent now, it's just an evil combination. Anything over 40 meters away, they generally won't hear this gun go off. I managed to shoot someone. I was on top of the ridge, firing through a few bushes and trees, down onto what we call the LZ, which is an open field, and there was a person maybe 50-60 meters away, and I pegged him with one shot to the side of his arm. He was actually side on to me, so I had a very small profile to actually aim at, and I still got him with one shot. Now, the only issue we had was the fact this is a new booking, so the accuracy wasn't totally there. It's not completely there. It was towards the end of the day, but at the start it was, you know, 3 or 4 shots would be all over the place. But that's just because it was a new booking. However, the real surprise came in the afternoon when I came back in, and I thought to myself, I wonder if this gun can pick up any more heavier rounds. I happened to have a large quantity of .4s, and I thought, well, give it a try and see what happens. I took the gun out to the range with some .4s, and oh my god, .4s and this gun, they love each other. It managed to put .4s at over 90 meters. That's 90 meters. I have never seen an airsoft gun, certainly not anything other than a bolt action sniper rifle, even get close to 90 meters, and this thing was putting them out there. Now the FPS wise was set for 400 feet per second. It was found just under 400 feet per second if that was using .2s. I left the pressure set as that and was using .4 ammunition. So it was technically a little bit hot, but not really that much hot, and obviously I'd re-chrono to allow the .4s through. But like I say, .4's 90 odd meters. I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't believe an airsoft gun could put a round out that far. I got my friend of mine to take the gun, and I walked out to about 85, 90 meters downrange, and he managed to fire 5 or 6 shots, and all of them landed, like I say, 85, 90 meters away. One of them even hit me at 90 meters. Some of the BBs were actually going further. We actually have a range that's marked out up to 80 meters. We was going way over the 80 meter mark, and some of them were actually going into the woods on the far end side, the rear end side of the range. And I marked that out at over 100 meters. Now, even though this gun can reach or put BBs out at 100 meters, I'm not saying that it's accurate at 100 meters. It wasn't accurate in the slightest. Because of the fact that we're using smoothbore barrels, and obviously BBs are not the most accurate projectiles in the world, my friend was able to put 5 or 6 rounds into a rough area 90 to 100 meters. So yeah, you know, you wouldn't be able to, you'd be very lucky if you hit someone at 100 meters, obviously. You'd be very lucky if you hit them at 90 meters. There wasn't much oomph left when the BB hit me at 90 to 95 meters. But it just shows you what HPA can do to this gun. I am totally converted to HPA. Set up into a DMR, it's amazing. Yes, I may end up doing another HPA project somewhere in the future, but at the moment this thing is an absolute beast. Open woodland gun, this thing is scary to go up against. Like I say, the pluses are it is very quiet, can lob BBs out to uber range, and it's a great gun. I love the SR25. Price wise, yeah, this is where the expense comes in. Because it was my first HPA project, I had to buy a tank, a regulator and a line, plus the jack system to go in here, so that's over £400. Total price of the gun, I believe, was in the 250 plus pounds. The gun came from Patrol Base. The HPA kit and tank, regulator and line came from Beasting. Beasting are probably one of the best shops in the UK to order your HPA projects, whether they're powered by Polarstar or Wolverine. Beasting are the company to go to. The Bipod, that came off Amazon. That's the rest of the gun that came off it. Like I say, it's amazing. The final product is absolutely awesome. The only slight issue I would have is trying to find a scope that actually works with me. I personally don't particularly like using scopes in airsoft. I don't think there's much of a need for one. However, with the range this thing's putting out, it probably would be a wise idea if I did. You could, like I say, mount a telescopic scope to it, and you could also mount an ACOG and have exactly the same result. So, like I say, I've got many scopes to try. I will put photos up when I find the scope that best suits this gun and me. But like I say, I just wanted to get this video out there to show you guys this particular weapon system. It's absolutely awesome, absolutely love it. It's gone, like I say, right to the top of the list of my favourite guns ever used in airsoft. Hopefully long term I want to put a camera on the side of it so that I can mount get some kill shots with this gun. Obviously I might have to use a camera that has zoom, being the range this thing shoots at, but you know, that's just because it's a DMR. I will be putting up more photos of this gun. Like I say, I absolutely love it. I hope you guys enjoy this gun. If you have any questions on this gun, what I've done to it, or HPA in general, please ask away. Put them on my Facebook page, put them on the YouTube channel. I will answer all questions regarding the HPA system. If I know the answer, I will answer it. If I don't, well, I'll let you know that I don't know it. But like I say, HPA with this gun, I pretty much know it. So if you want to know any answers to your HPA questions regarding DMRs, please ask me. I hope to see you again in the future on the airsoft field. Please just be careful that you don't get in front of this gun. Like I say, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you on an airsoft field very soon.